if we can have in place corruption-free functional government. This is possible. Today I am going to talk on medical and education tourism. Why do we have potential for medical and education tourism? Let me touch on this first. Nepal is very biodiversity rich country. Its climate is quite friendly throughout the year, with some exceptions. We have young population dividend till now, and it will remain for next 2 decades at least. And our country is situated between India and China, which are biggest countries in South Asia, and which house 2/5 of world population. And we have very rich traditional medicine traditions, Ayurveda and herbal medicine. We also have we have also adopted Chinese acupuncture system, naturotherapy, and other medicinal traditions. So we are very rich in a composite mix of various medical traditions, including modern medicine. But where have we missed the point? This is a big question. This is certainly that our leadership betrayed our country. Our leadership betrayed our country by grabbing people's money and keeping them in foreign banks. And whenever they need, they use it for their medical purpose, for educating their children, and even if they have to run away from the country, they will go and safely sit in another country. So this is how our leaders betrayed our people. So I will talk about 5-6 dimensions at which we have to work if we want to make Nepal as a medical and education tourism hub. The first thing we have to do is we have to have a vision for care economy. We have to have a vision to develop Nepal as a most important center in South Asia by 2040. For that, we have to integrate policy of tourism, education, and health sectors together. Just we look into policies in fragmented way. When we talk about education policy, we forget about other policies. When we talk about health policies, we forget about other policies. When we talk about tourism, we talk about holiday tourism, like adventure tourism, or limited aspects only. So, the first of all, we have to have an integrated vision to develop Nepal as a care economy. The second things we have to do is we have to transform the governance in this sector. First of all, we have to reform our universities, and we have to also establish national accreditation center, integrated accreditation centers that sets standards for quality. Okay, the most important things we have to do is we have to improve the quality of our education, And for that, we have to develop our universities as the main points of departure. We have to appoint VCs through competitive system and non-political basis. Then we have to implement a far-reaching, massive reform programs at the universities first. And those products should be redirected to reform our school education and then to our non-regular education like technical and vocational educations. And we have to ensure quality. We have to set benchmarks for every kind of education. That is the first thing we have to do for this. Second thing we have to do is we have to make massive investment in health and education with this vision. For that, we have to establish one-stop center, investment center for health and education sectors. And we have to collaborate with the renowned universities within the region and across the globe for joint degrees, joint research programs, and also for exchange programs. And also we have to encourage renowned universities to open branches in Nepal. Okay, in this way we have to first set the policy, set the standards, then collaborate with the educational and research institutions in the region and across the globe. For that, we have our government. Our governance must be corruption-free and functional and predictable, accountable, transparent. Then what we have to do is when we set the standards, we have to ascertain the quality through integrated testing. Okay. For example, after passing law graduates, they compete for licenses. Similarly, for every kind of education, there should be certain standard setting, and people have to go through that test and prove them that they have adequate quality to serve the people in their field. Particularly why we can attract people for medical and education tourism is our labor cost compared to those of developed countries will be competitive. Okay, let me give an example. The medical graduates from our TU teaching hospitals can compete with any graduates across the globe. That means we have the potential. We have the potential to produce quality, highly qualified personnel, highly qualified medical personnel. And if they have to be paid in USA, they have to be paid, for example, $50,000, but they happily work here in $3,000. See that difference gap. So one reason is that. Another is we have composite medical traditions like Ayurveda, acupuncture, herbal medicine, naturotherapy, and modern medicine system. We can integrate these systems, and we have also some indigenous models. We can integrate all these models and add value to the services we provide. And our culture and climate is also very friendly for health and education tourism, because our hospitality is well known for centuries, and that will also add to the value. And we can be competitive. We have population dividend, and our wage rate is far low compared to that of the developed countries. And this will also contribute to our enhanced national health and education quality for our people. Okay, when we decide to compete globally, certainly our quality grades of our education and medical system will be enhanced or improved. That will be, and that will also send ripples of change on all walks of life. Because once we produce quality students, qualified graduates in many subjects, then our administrative system, our service delivery, and our development will also be improved. So it is highly important to set this goal and to pursue this right now. Our country has been betrayed by bad leaders again and again, but it is now time to reverse this trend, and it is possible to do so, because a lot of people have gone to the foreign universities, they have acquired degrees, and they know how quality education is delivered in those countries. We can involve those people in our benchmarking, in our policy design, in our governance, and in our monitoring system. The most important thing what we need is we should set a vision and policy. With the policy, we should be data driven and research driven. Okay, we have to do a lot of related researches on this field, because for example, if we want to develop center of excellence in environmental studies, first of all we have to study the courses across the globe. We have to study the demands in the market and what benchmarks of quality education in environmental studies should be set. We have to set that. So there it has to be it will be an arduous process in the beginning, because nothing comes out easily. If it could have been achieved easily, those misguided leaders or the deceptive leaders could have also attempted this. So this is not easy. You have to work day and night, and you have to be very much committed to the action on the ground. This is also very important for us, because we have potential. For example, in engineering sectors, our engineering courses were also very much competitive few years ago, or even some 1 or 2 decades ago. But we did not update our education, we did not set the benchmark, and we did not follow the path of continuous reforms. That's why our institutions, which were good, degraded compared to the education excellence that were being developed across the globe, that was being developed across the globe. That's the reason. At one point of time, the Tribhuvan University products were also considered very good across the globe. But now, we do not come under even the 3,000, 4,000 ranking. See the pathetic conditions where our leaders have pushed to. So we have to reverse the dream. Nepal should be a place to attract the students from across the globe. That should be our vision. And Nepal should be the center of excellence for various health services to attract patients from South Asia and beyond. And this is possible. This is possible because if we work hard, this is possible for several reasons, as I have already told. Population dividend, our climate, our environment, our human resources, and our location. Okay, we have several advantages. The only disadvantage we have is we have very pathetic leaders, very kleptocratic leaders. That's why we have failed. And we have to start bit by bit. We cannot do everything at one time. For example, medical excellence can be started at neurosurgery, okay, or maybe heart treatment, heart disease treatment, excellence of heart treatment centers, heart hospitals. Okay, we have to start small, and we must have a clear vision, and we must move forward step by step. And once we have vision, once we have commitment, and once we go into actions, and once we base our decisions on research, data, and analysis and findings, we move in the right directions. Once we move in the right directions, we reach the destination. What we have done is we just make declarations, okay, baseless declarations without research and data, and we do not have any commitment to that. We make declarations to deceive the people, and then we do not implement them. Our implementation capacity is pathetic, corrupt, non-functional, and kleptocratic leaders, both at bureaucracy and politics, have paralyzed our implementation systems. So these are the places where we have to make change, and it is possible to realize the vision of healing Himalayan Nepal, green energy superpower in the digital age, as I have told you earlier. And education, if you want to develop your country, develop the university first. You must have world-class university. That is the foremost priority we must give. In our country, education ministry was considered as something relegated. Okay, it was not attractive ministry for political leaders. See their motive. If the country has to be transformed, it is the education ministry that has to work night and day. That has to coordinate with all research institutions, think tanks, and experts, and that should be, if we want to develop to medical and education tourism, then we have to collaborate with countries in neighborhood, in the region, and across the globe. But that is not happening now because our priority is something else. To be prime minister is the goal for the politicians in itself. See the misery we have faced. We don't approve. Let's not approve any such leaders who has target of being a minister or prime minister. Let's choose a leader who has a target of transforming the country with clear vision, clear strategies, clear commitment, and clean character with good profile already made. In my calculations, within 20 years, if we work hard enough and we invest enough and we have political will and commitment, we can transform our country into medical and education hub in South Asia.